Who's the most famous person who's coming here?
The most famous person, probably Jane Campion. Yeah, she was a good regular for a while. Yeah.
Really? What did she rant? What did JC rant?
I can't.
Come on!
Wait, you can't tell us
I
what
can't
someone
comment.
did?
It's not
you
like
can.
it's a medical condition.
Shut up.
Like when you... So first of all, it's Hot Rod, which is probably my most played movie in the store. It was just, it was always a favourite of mine. I always loved Lonely Island, and it slowly became just my comfort movie or my I can't decide what else to watch movie.
Can we skip to this one?
We can skip to High Fidelity.
To that one, please.
So I had to pick High Fidelity just because it's kind of, between this, Clerks, and Be Kind Rewind, I guess, are sort of the, the classic video store experience. Maybe Empire Records, but not
Scream
really.
as well.
I guess so, but Scream's only got like a couple of scenes in there. It's not, I get you. It's got it's got one of the most iconic video store scenes. Anyway, this was the jerky sort of snobby cult store movie for my generation, and so it's and it's aged surprisingly well. Like you kind of when you're 20 you sort of look up to John Cusack's character, and when you're 40 you're sort of like, this guy's pathetic and I don't want to be him anymore. So next up is a real obscure little one, Dawson City Frozen Time, from the filmmaker Bill Morrison. So he works mostly in sort of found footage sort of stuff. Usually he made one before this called Decasia, which is essentially all made up of like damaged, sort of warped old like silent films. So just like snippets and bits and pieces, and Dawson City is partly that, but also a documentary essentially about the Yukon, like about old movie theaters, about the frontiers and capitalism and Trump's grandfather and his whorehouse, and just like it's an amazing story that just like touches on all of these little bits, and all essentially told through these found newsreels, which were just buried in a sort of frozen lake underneath this town. Like, so it's the central thing is the mystery of like where did all this film reels come from, and why were they frozen in the ice. Another fave, Beach Bum, weirdly didn't make as much. I mean, I get why people don't either like it or talk about it, but for some reason it really just sort of resonated with me when I saw it. If anything, I'd say it would be one of the precursors to me, finally needing to sort of move on. Like, it's all about, finding a passion, identifying when you're out of your mojo or you've lost your groove, and sort of, you need to find it again. Like, it's, it seems like a dumb sort of stoner comedy on its surface, and it totally is that. And it's also like a good time, and it's also like, sort of a deep meditation on sort of art, and
it's also a feminist masterpiece.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, that too. Speaking of mental health, her smell is another little gem that sort of seemed to pass people by, and understandably so. It's pretty like vitriolic, and sort of, it's a prickly film. It's not easy to like, because Elizabeth Moss is such a good actress, and she's playing someone who is such a mess and so damaged and so toxic to actually everyone around her. It did so badly that the director Alex Ross Perry essentially made a blog post saying, well, I'm not going to make movies anymore if you guys aren't going to go see it. Like, just the very rare director actually calling out and saying, like, well, you don't want to support films, then I'll stop making films then. Like, it seemed, a little pretentious, and a little sort of like a bit of attitude, but also like really honest. Like, obviously someone, if you do spend 2 or 3 years of your life making something and then it just lands with like a whimper,
Fuck it.
You'd maybe just want to, go cash those Disney paychecks, or, whatever, great directors do when they're no longer appreciated in their time. So Miss Campion rented out, let me see, something lowbrow. It's mostly pretty highbrow.
Wow.
Kelly Reichardt's.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, all of them.
I Love, Persona, The Witch, that's...
When We Were Kings.
Joy,
she loved Joy.
Jackie Brown, Point Break, I mean, that's...
Queen of Earth.
Martha Marcy made my lane. That's cute.
Sound of My Voice.
Queen of Earth, love it. Love Elizabeth Moss, obviously. Oh, that was her phase of getting ready for Top of the Lake. I bet she was like,
What's her first ever DVD rental from?
That would
Wait, how many is she
Dazed and
born?
Confused.
Dazed and Confused, yeah.
That was her first movie that she wrote.
There you go.
Staircase, Amazing Grace.
Okay,
Wow.
that's all we need to know, I think.
That's all we need to know. Beautiful.